Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. What I'm going to talk about is a Victor 4-spring motor and the work you need to do to it and the flex honing. And I want to show you the after effect in one piece before it's done. This piece here goes into the spring barrel here, and it has a set screw which tightens down on the shaft and lets the shaft spin and the springs move. And on this one, you pull them out and go, oh yeah, I put this back in. But you see all this chipping and these right around here, you can see these little burrs, and then the edge is very sharp. Well, this end of this is running into the side of the casting, and this is moving back and forth a little. So what happens with this rough edge is it'll start to drag, and then you'll see these wear marks on the side of the casting. So you want to get rid of this and then finish off the inside of the casting the same way. And then also you want to clean up all this, and you can see here where it's been rubbing on the other part of this spring barrel. In here they kind of collide. But at flex honing, you know, I always talk about doing the inside, but I'm also doing this outside. See this piece? This has all been polished out, so when it's running against the casting, this is running smoother. And then what I do is I do a little chamfer work. And what that means is, if it's sitting in your drill and it's running, you're just gonna hold this file at about 45-degree angle. While it's running, you're just gonna go like that a little and go like that a little, and that'll take that chamfer sharp edge off that we have here. And it just helps everything done. And then once you're done doing that, you want to take the flex on this and you want to run it in and out a couple of times, because then you're going to see all these swirl wear marks, because this piece here is literally, this is sitting on the shaft and this is spinning. This isn't spinning, so this is wearing. And that's why on assembly, we put STP in here to cushion the spring barrel shaft and this piece. And this is what has to be done if you want the motor to run smoothly. Also, I did the same thing to the drive gear to the spindle shaft, polished this part out here and rounded this out, and it really runs right in here on the spring barrel. The machine had very, very little wear marks, like, you know, most machines do, but this had very, very little wear marks. And then you want to polish this out. And to polish these things out, it's a two-piece process. First, you're going to take like 320 sandpaper and run it down this while it's running in your drill or lathe. And then you can come back with 500 and polish it out. Also, on the spindle drive gear, you'll get some staining into the brass. So you want everything to go back like it looked originally. So when I was running this, I just polished these out with Neverdull, but I also clean out all the teeth in here. So this just looks a little bit more pleasing. The other thing is, this is how your governor should look when it's put back together. We have videos on all this, but I'm putting everything together here. So what I did was, I polished out the back side where the speed control fits. I first went with 320 all the way down to about 1,000. Because on this, if you look closely, I move it, you'll see we had some wear marks from the speed control leather. So I got this really smoothed out, but I left a little bit in here because those little lines will hold the oil, and then I'll flatten out the leather. But when you put them together, it should run very smoothly. We have a few more things to clean and polish out, like the governor bearings. We have to do that, flex on and clean the chassis, and it'll be ready to go. But when you put them all back together like this, cleanliness is next to godliness. And you will clean the Victor. They coated this copper stuff on these, I think, for wear. And when you clean them, you'll see that it's kind of splotchy. This isn't oil. This is just the coating that Victor did later in production. And it literally wears off from the grease. You can see this whole thing was all this copper brown color that they coated these with. And then you can see here where it's all worn off because of the oil. And the oils they used back then had acid in them, you know, and that's why we're going to like sewing machine oil that's very, very, very low acid content and doesn't stain the brass and hurt everything else on the phonograph. And that's my tip for the day.